NBA 2K17, we have a competitive weekend in my park. On Saturday the 21st, head over to the aircraft carrier for Rival Day. Rep your affiliation in this three-way battle, and remember, your community is counting on you. The next day on Sunday, we have another due NBA 3X event. Ball up for your chance at permanent attribute boosts and get your 2 Jumbo Park card packs just for participating. Good luck, guys. What's up, guys? I'm Rachel, and welcome to this week's episode of NBA 2K TV. We are over halfway through the qualification rounds for 2K17's Pro-Am All-Star Tournament, and last Saturday, 6 new teams were added to the bracket. Once the dust settled, we asked Scott OG and Chris Manning for their reaction, plus some insight into the stories unfolding in this year's tournament.
Thank you, Rachel. We are here. I'm Chris Manning, of course, joined by Scott O'Gallagher, and today we are going to talk about round 3 in the books of the NBA 2K All-Star Tournament. Scott, what are some of the things that you noticed from round 3?
A lot of exciting teams, some teams that we thought would get in, Throwdown being one of those teams. Exciting action across the board, and I guess, we'll get to that.
The winners of round 3 are Another Level, Throwdown 2K, KM, Still Trill, Bears, and Vibrancy Gaming. What are some of the things that you saw from these teams that qualified in round 3?
Alluding to our last show, we talked about the importance of the 3-ball. 10 out of the 18 teams that have qualified in this tournament are averaging over 23-point attempts per game. That's high, especially with 5-minute quarters, and you look at the NBA, Houston's leading the league at 40 attempts per game. So they're playing at a very high pace.
Last week, we talked about teams to watch for. Throwdown was one of my teams to watch for. We learned that they switched sides this week on the other platform. What did that mean for the qualifying tournament?
Interesting to do at this time of the year, but the numbers speak for themselves, just pure domination. Scored 91 a game, shot at around 75%, and 28 dimes as a team per game. Obviously, they're playing fast. Again, it's one of those teams. How well does that style play in the tournament?
So with 9 teams in on each console, 18 total teams, what are some of the things that you're looking for the teams that are qualified?
Well, a team that we probably should have mentioned last week is Top Notch. Top Notch lost to the Drucker last year in the Final Four, 62-56. That was a team that took the lead in that game, kind of let it go, let it slip away late. They're back in. They're averaging 70 points per game at 67%. So they're definitely a team to look out for.
Let's talk about the European All-Star Tournament Championship. Best of 3 with 2 teams, False Prophets and YSL United. 2 great games.
Yeah.
One of the key things that I want to talk about is that game number 2.
Yes.
We had YSL United take game 1. False Prophets, at one point in the game, 154 remaining in the 3rd quarter, were up 52-37, and YSL United rallied back in that 4th quarter to not only tie the game, but beat them in the final minutes. What were some of the things you saw from these 2 games?
I was hoping for a game 3. I love that format personally, but it's one of those things where they played not to lose. That first 2 quarters, they put it on, then all of a sudden the game got more spread, and then YSL really got into them, and then that's how games like this turn, man.
15-point lead. That's devastating.
That's worse. That's as bad as the Warriors blowing a 3-1 lead.
Almost as bad.
Almost as bad. No, it's not as bad as that.
Yeah.
The Warriors blowing a 3-1 lead was pretty bad.
How important is the interior defense going to be, as we saw in that championship series, but also as we move forward with the American tournament?
Oh, it's everything. Again, Drucker last year locked in defensively, and that was the difference in the game. No rebounds, no rings. Say it every single time. You got to control the glass, you got to keep them out of the middle of the floor, and you got to contest shots.
What's up, guys? I'm Ravi, here to talk to you about MyTEAM Wingmen Packs. They're out. What do you do with them? Wingmen Packs include guys like Tracy McGrady, Penny Hardaway, and Dwayne Wade. Superstars in their own right, but when they're paired with other people, they are great wingmen and additions to your team. I found a community member that will really help you earn the most MT on the auction house. His name is Spaceward Bird 2. He's earned over 2 million MT, and he's gonna give you all the great auction house tips on how to earn MT.
All right, thanks, Robbie. Today, the auction house in MyTEAM. It's where you go to buy and sell cards, make improvements to your MyTEAM lineup. It's also where you go to potentially make MT and really make some improvements to your MyTEAM lineup. Now, spending time in the auction house, you'll start to learn the value of player cards, team items, and consumables. But it definitely takes some time, some research. Take a look at the cards. How many are posted? What are the cheapest buy now prices? What's interesting is you'll see the pricing on cards changes by time of day and day of week, and especially on days when new content or moments challenges are released. Now use filters found in the auction search to target specific cards. Use buy now price ranges to tighten up your filter. Your goal is to find higher value cards in that lower price range you've set up with your filter. The auction house is constantly updating. You're looking for those newest cards posted. To do this, look for cards with end auction times of 4, 12, and 24 hours. If you spot a good price on a card, there's potential to sell it for more. You can put the card up in auction with the buy now price. This allows the buyer to purchase your card immediately. Or you can post your card with a starting bid and no buy now price. Your card would go to the highest bidder when your auction expires. This is great to do for higher value cards. Selling your cards, you have a few more options to consider. Use 4-hour auctions if you're hanging out for the day. This way you can adjust your price and repost if needed. Use 12 or 24-hour auctions if you're going to be gone for the day. This way your card remains available for purchase. Now, determining a card's value, the buyer will ultimately determine this. A card that's equipped with more badges, additional contracts, or a boost shoot could potentially be worth a little more. When new moments cards are released, right out of the gate, the value on these cards is definitely higher. Everybody fired up to get that new card to run. Throwback packs and specialty sets are a little different. The price on these cards tends to be a little less expensive while the packs are available for purchase. Then you'll find that the price on some of these cards goes up after the packs are retired. The more time you spend hanging out in the auction house and checking out the cards, the more experience you'll gain. And soon you'll be a MyTEAM auction house expert. Good luck in the auction house. Get out there and make some plays.
Now it's time to vote. Here are your 4 contenders for the top play of the week. You can submit your best plays through social media using the hashtag 2KTVWow.
My team name is Trust the Process, and we've been top 10 all year. Our starting 5 is myself at the point guard. I run a sharpshooter. We're a little bit different in that aspect. Most teams run playmakers at the 1. We tried it at the beginning. It didn't really work for us in our play style, so we actually run a sharpshooter at the point guard. At the 2, we have Speaker Box. He's also a sharpshooter. Me and him have been playing together for a couple years now. Competitively, we kind of built this team up. And then at the 3, we have Turn Up Defense, and you can tell by his, that's our defensive guy. At the 4, we have Deadeye. He's also a lockdown defender. That's another reason why we're a little bit different than most teams. We like to run 2 lockdowns. I'm talking to my team about having defense mentality, because that's going to separate, especially in this 2K. If you can get stops, you're going to be successful. At the 5, we have GBE. He's actually new to the team. Actually, our first game was our most competitive game. We played Peerless Proficiency. They've been kind of known as the longest undefeated team We beat them by 40 points the first game, and that kind of set the tone for our team. We ended up winning 9 straight games, and we got the number one. I think we finished with like 8,300, something around there. It was a good Saturday for us. If there's a team that we have beef with, I guess, or a little drama with, top notch, is definitely our competition. They actually beat us after we qualified. They tweeted out to us like, "Oh, this is the competition for the tournament," and so on and so forth. So if we match up in the tournament, it's gonna be a fun one for that one.
One of my favorite things about all of esports is learning about the people behind the teams. We just heard from Trust the Process's own Deloading14.
Assuming he's a D'Angelo Russell fan, yeah?
Has to be.
All right.
And I think the thing that stood out to me the most in that interview was their archetype builds.
Yes.
Do they have the winning formula to win this entire thing?
I like the formula. I'm curious to see how their guards up top can compete with the elite guards here that are playmakers and that have that significant speed advantage to get down in the lane, because those sharpshooters tend to be, you know, Corver-esque, slower laterally. By any case, they're still 57-1, shooting at a 60% a game, and they beat Peerless, who was arguably the top team amongst the leaderboard at one time, by 40. And we all know that Peerless has added a couple, you know, guys to their squad. They've added, you know, MVP and Tone West Adams. Those two really kind of carried the Druckerbockers in that tournament. So we got some free agency going on here when it comes to the Pro-Am.
Druckerbockers won $250,000,
Yep.
tripped to the NBA Finals last year. This year, they're not even together. So let's take a look. I'm glad you brought up about Peerless Proficiency. We have 2 ex-champions joining Peerless Proficiency. Almighty Dunk, who also won last year with the Druckerbockers, joined Miamiville. And last but not least, TML 614 joined Highlight Zoo. I think the most interesting thing to note is that Mr. Styles, again from the championship Druckerbockers last year, formed Druckerbockers HG with Worthing Colt. They lost their first game against Always Open, heartbreaking 4th place finish down in the final seconds. They also lost their 6th game to Throwdown, who ended up qualifying. So Scott, I want to ask you, $250,000 on the line again. You are the defending champions. Why are you breaking up?
It's one of the more crazy things I've seen, but this is unacceptable, right? $250,000, you got a good nucleus of guys. You went there, you took out a team where you were the underdog and you beat them soundly. And to not put, you know, whatever problems aside for the betterment of the team and the one goal, just to try to repeat, it seems like me personally, winners win. Someone's got to knock me off the mountain with the same group before I look of going somewhere else.
It's definitely going to be the one story to look out for as we continue on into these final qualifying events. Now, transitioning to a team that has not broken up, but was also in the road to the finals last year on the losing end, is Team GFG. Same 5, but on the first qualifying day, they came in 4th place, and recently had a little bit of problems qualifying for this new tournament. Scott, what's some of the things that you could talk about with GFG?
They're one of those teams a la the mid-90s Rockets. They just got to get in. That's exactly what they did. They just got in the tournament. I had them as the favorite in the final last year. I still like them. My biggest concern is how will they adapt as the tournament goes on.
Do they have a chip on their shoulder? Is this going to be enough to get them back in this thing?
Hopefully. I mean, meeting them last year was a good group of guys, and they all seem like they got along well, and it's awesome to see them back. That's what you want when you see these esports events, is you want to see these teams, you know, kind of build these stories, and I can't wait to see what they do in this tourney.
It's not too late for your team to qualify. There's another qualification round this coming Saturday, so make sure that you gather your team to see if you have what it takes. Thanks for watching, guys. I will see you next time.